So most of the world has been locked down because of coronavirus. I hope you can hear me now. It is extremely noisy from this dawn chorus. I'm not complaining, it's absolutely wonderful. It's actually worth getting out of bed just to hear it. But hopefully if you can hear me, all I want to say is that the world has been in lockdown because of this dreaded coronavirus over the last few months. And here in England, the government have eased the restrictions on us. So what they've allowed us to do now is to, one, exercise as many times a day as we wish. Two, is we can drive to any location within England that we wish. And the third is that we can stop in a certain location, sunbathe, have a picnic, whatever, which essentially means landscape photography is back on the cards. So that is great news for all the landscape photographers out there. But if you can get out, it's so good to be out in the fresh air and try and get some great photos, clear the cobwebs, and help alleviate some of that stress and anxiety that you've been getting stuck in at home. So this is the first morning that the government allowed us to come out, so I've taken this opportunity to come out early and get sunrise at one of my favourite hills on the Malvern Hills. Right, this hill was a little bit steeper than I remembered. I thought it was going to take about 15 minutes or so to get up to the top of Midsummer Hill, but I think I've been in lockdown for too long, and I've only made it about a third of the way up the hill and had to stop for a breather. And as I was waiting here, trying to get my breath back, just look behind me, and as you can see up there, we've got Ragged Stone Hill, and that's I think it's the second most southerly hill on the Malvern Hills, and at the moment it's got this beautiful covering of bluebells all across the top section, which is looking absolutely fabulous. So what I thought, rather than going to the other side of the hill and looking north, if I look south, then I'm going to try and pick up those beautiful bluebells. I don't know if you can see them in this, but if I take a photograph and zoom in a little bit more, hopefully you should be able to see them. So I'll just talk you through the scene. You've got a lovely oak tree which is out of frame there. I don't know if I'm going to include that in the photograph or not. I was thinking about taking a panorama, so I'm definitely going to include this tree here, and I've positioned it so the top of this tree is roughly the same height as the hill. I want it to be slightly out, so I think it's going to be slightly higher, so it doesn't look too uniform, and gives a little bit of balance to the right hand side of the photograph. Then we've got this hill going up, and then just going off down the side, and on the left hand side, that's where the sun should be rising and coming through. So I think I'm going to go for a panorama. The sun is coming on from that side of the hill, so we probably won't be getting any of this lovely morning light on this foreground here, so I'm going to cut quite a bit of that out, but the light should hit the side of that hill and really light up those bluebells, which I'm hoping is going to be the main interest in the photograph. The only thing that I'm a bit concerned about is this tree here. Because of the angle of the light at the moment this time of year, I don't think that's going to be in the sun. So what I'm going to have to do is just see how it goes. This is the first time I've been here for sunrise, so if it doesn't work, then I can always come back again, and probably 3, maybe 4 months time, the sun would have moved back and should be perfectly in line. If I can get it about 90 degrees, when it rises, there's a little gap just over that side, and then the light should just come flooding across here, light up all the foreground, that tree and the background, and I think that will look absolutely superb. Okay, I managed to continue walking up to the top of the hill. A little robin in that tree here. He's oh, he's gone. He's very noisy. So I've managed to walk to the top of Midsummer Hill. The summit is just over there to the side, but the cloud cover is about 100% at the moment. As you can see behind, it's just really thick, and over that side behind you is east, so that's where the sun's coming up. It's been up about an hour and a half, 2 hours now, and it's just thick cloud. It's probably not going to break through today, so it looks like that one shot that I took on the way up is the only photograph that I managed to get, which is not too bad. I think it was a nice shot. Okay, this is the view from Midsummer Hill. Over in the distance there we've got British Camp on the left hand side, and then just to the right of it we've got the Worcestershire Beacon. And this is a photograph that I came up to get. I've come up here so many times and the light hasn't been right, or as you can see there's a lot of woodland down there, so when the leaves are on the trees, even if the light is spectacular, it looks quite muddy. So I haven't managed to get a photograph that I'm happy with. So I thought I'd come up around mid-May time, just as the leaves are appearing on the trees. And I think pretty much most of them have got leaves on the trees now. There's one or two that don't, but for the most part, it's a nice lime greeny colour. But also as a bonus, we've got this lovely hawthorn on the left hand side, so we've got that lovely white blossom on that bush, and then down in the foreground there we've got some amazing bluebells going through the woodland and leading up to British Camp in the background. So this is an absolutely stunning view. It's probably one of my favourites around this particular area. You've got such an expanse of green trees, it looks absolutely fabulous. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depends on how you look at it, the southern parts of the hills aren't as popular as the north. So the Worcestershire Beacon right over in the middle hill over there is one of the most popular hills. It happens to be the highest hill on the Malvern Hills. And it's also quite easy to get to. There used to be a cafe on the top, so there's quite a paved road that goes all the way to the top. So that is probably one of the busiest peaks on the Malvern Hills. But down here, there's a lovely car park. You can fit about 5, maybe 10 cars on it. But people don't generally come up here as often, so this is one of the most peaceful hills around, so if you want to get away from it, this is ideal. I didn't think the light was going to come out at all. Earlier the clouds on the right hand side were extremely thick, and it looked like we weren't going to get any breaks in the cloud, but it is quite windy today, and thankfully there has been a break in the clouds on the east, so we've had some fleeting light coming through, which has meant some dapple bits of light all over the scene. So I think the sun's just coming up now, so you should hopefully see what it looked like. So I managed to take a photograph before the light has got a little bit too harsh. I'm taking a panorama across the whole scene, so there are patches of light in the foreground and patches of light in the distance, so that should really add a nice 3D effect to this image. So to capture this scene, what I've done is I've taken a panorama from the left hand side, moving over to the right, so I've got the hills roughly in the centre, and the sun is just to the right hand side of the image, and it's really hitting the clouds. So we've got some bright white clouds on the right. So I've had to use a 3-stop graduated neutral density filter to balance the sky and the foreground. Over this side the clouds are quite dark, but as you pan around to the right hand side it gets extremely bright, and so I didn't want to burn out the highlights. So I've used a neutral density graduated filter, and that then enables me to expose to the foreground without burning out the highlights and the clouds on the right hand side. So the best of the light is now gone. It's gone extremely cloudy, so I don't know when we're going to get any more light, but I think it's time to start packing up and heading down the hill. But I've just stopped here for a little break. We've got on my left hand side there, we've got the East Nor obelisk, and over that side on my right hand shoulder you can see East Nor Castle, and there's some really lovely photographs that can be taken here. I think I might have to come back another time because the light isn't going to come today, and this scene is particularly beautiful at sunset. So I think I will call it a day for today. So thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. And as ever, I really do like to receive your comments. They're really supportive for my channel, so thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.